In July 1969, people arrived on the Moon interestingly, as a feature of the Apollo 11 mission. However, why haven't we come back since the Apollo 17 mission in 1972? To find out, keep on watching this video. Hey guys, welcome back to Behind the Mind, the channel where we unravel conspiracy theories about space. In today's video, we will talk about it's 2022, and we didn't go to the moon. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications by hitting the bell so you never miss any of our uploads. Now with the intro out of the way, let's get into our topic for today. The Apollo 11 moon's arrival in July 1969 was a tremendous accomplishment of human undertaking, design, and science. It was a second that the world had been hanging tight for. Apollo 11 was trailed by 6 further excursions to the moon, 5 of which landed effectively. 12 men strolled on the lunar surface altogether. Apollo 17 turned into the last monitored mission to the moon for an endless measure of time. Be that as it may, in 1970, future Apollo missions were dropped. Even though we haven't placed a human on the lunar surface since the 1970s, there are currently ordinarily maintained missions to space. The fundamental justification behind this was cash. The expense of getting to the moon was incidentally galactic. When was the last time we went to space? Skylab, 1973 to 1974. Skylab was the principal NASA overseeing and working space station. It worked between May 1973 and February 1974. It had a studio and an observatory and did many analyses. Improvement and further utilization of Skylab were postponed because of issues fostering space transport. In the end, the orbital rod of Skylab couldn't be halted. Orbital rod is the slow diminishing of the distance between two articles in the circle of one another. Space transport, 1981 to 2011. The primary reusable space apparatus, NASA's space transport, empowered satellites to be sent off and returned to Earth. The maintained rocket permitted NASA to make a trip to recuperate harmed satellites, fix them, and send them back into space. The space transport was additionally instrumental in the advancement of the ISS. Mir Space Station, 1986 to 2001. Mir was a Russian space station that was in operation from 1986 until 2001 and was the central consistently occupied research station in the Circle. Many tests were completed on the space station, and its prosperity would turn into the outline for the ongoing Global Space Station. Global Space Station, 1988 to present. The Global Space Station, or ISS, is a consistently occupied fake satellite in a low Earth circle. A joint venture between the USA, Russia, Japan, Europe, and Canada. Space travelers on board the ISS complete different tests and live on the station for around a half year at a time. The last monitored mission to the moon was Apollo 17, occurring somewhere between 7 and 19 December 1972. It was a 12-day mission and broke many records, including the longest spacewalk, the longest lunar landing, and the biggest lunar example taken back to Earth. Harrison H. Schmitt was the lunar module pilot, similar to a geologist. Ronald E. Evans joined him as order module pilot and Eugene Cernan as mission authority. Space race timetable Apollo 17 was the primary Apollo mission, not to convey any space explorers who had recently been aircraft testers. After the retraction of Apollo 18, the Apollo mission Schmitt had initially planned to go on. Established researchers campaigned that he be put onto Apollo 17. Remember the Apollo 11 moon landing mission in real-time Apollo 11 moon landing giveaway with simulation curriculum and Celestron. Apollo 11 at 50, a complete guide to the historic moon landing. Humankind hasn't come back to Earth's closest neighbor since. NASA has mounted various maintained moon projects since Apollo, including the aggressive Constellation program during the 2000s, yet not a solitary one has taken care of business. So why was Apollo unique? Specialists say it was rooted in a particular climate, the Cold War space race with the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union terminated the initial not many salvos in this intermediary war. The country sent off the very first satellite, Sputnik 1, in October 1957 and put the primary individual in space, Yuri Gagarin, in April 1961. These mechanical shows could stress U.S. authorities, who needed their very own major win. Also, they honestly thought that putting the primary boots on the moon would get the job done. And so NASA got the assets it is expected to pull off its moon shot. Also, those assets were monstrous, about $25.8 billion for Apollo from 1960 through 1973, or almost $264 billion in the current dollars. During the mid-1960s, NASA got around 4.5% of the government spending plan, multiple times more noteworthy than its ongoing offer. NASA at first intended to send human missions to the Moon through Apollo 20 and afterwards adjusted its Moon mission innovation for other investigations through the Apollo Applications Program. Nonetheless, legislative reductions in NASA distributions sped up the finish of the Moon program to Apollo 17 in 1972. Most AAP programs were retired, except for the Space Station Skylab. There are many justifications for why Congress diminished subsidizing NASA. The underlying force to go to the Moon came from the space race, a contest between the Soviet Union and the United States to show innovation and military prevalence over different countries. Later during the 1960s, be that as it may, the temperament of contest cooled to détente, eliminating the essential criticalness of putting resources into NASA. Other public needs were also coming to the front, high among them the costly Vietnam War that required an enormous portion of government reserves. Public interest in space additionally blurred after the principled human moon landing, Apollo 11, on July 20, 1969. Space antiquarians Roger D. Launius and Howard E. McCurdy further contend that Apollo emerged on account of a unique situation in their 1997 book, Spaceflight and the Myth of Presidential Leadership. In particular, U.S. President John F. Kennedy sought, after the space program, and moon arrivals as one of the main approaches of the United States because of worry about Soviet military abilities. After détente, NASA and its projects moved to an auxiliary approach and have stayed there from that point onward. In accordance with legislative longings, NASA's needs were different in the next few decades, and its more restricted human spaceflight cash went to projects other than the moon investigation. The following significant drive after Apollo was the, to some extent, reusable space transport, whose 5 space vehicles flew 135 missions somewhere in the range of 1981 and 2011. 3 presidents have proposed new moon drives throughout the long term. However, most thoughts were deserted because of financing and winding down legislative will. These were George H.W. Shrubbery's Space Exploration Initiative to Land People by the turn of the 100 years and George W. Bramble's vision for space exploration, pushing for moon missions by 2020. The 2 drives ended not long after every president completed his term. The ongoing organization of Donald Trump has 2 significant moon drives arranged: the Gateway Lunar Space Station and Project Artemis, going for the gold constantly in 2024. In June 2019, NASA head Jim Bridenstine let correspondents know that the new moon arrivals under Project Artemis could cost NASA $20 billion and $30 billion in current-day dollars. This would be a lot less expensive than the expense of Apollo, fixed in the abundance of $115 billion. Any nation or organization that decides to land individuals on the moon should acknowledge a specific measure of hazard and monetary responsibility. Human moon arrivals require more assets than automated arrivals since people require water, oxygen, food, and different conveniences to stay alive. A few countries, including privately owned businesses from those countries, are dealing with automated moon drives that could uphold future human missions. The stakes haven't been close to as high since the finish of the Cold War, so ensuing moon projects haven't delighted in such supported help. For instance, the Constellation program, which came to fruition under President George W. Shrub, was dropped in 2010 by President Barack Obama. NASA initially targeted 2028 for the first crewed lunar landing since the Apollo days, but this past March, Vice President Mike Pence instructed NASA to get it done by 2024. The accelerated timeline might make this newest moonshot more achievable, NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine has said, citing the political risk that doomed Constellation and other programs. The 2024 landing is part of Artemis's program, which aims to build up a long-term, sustainable human presence at and around the moon. NASA aims to put boots on the red planet sometime in the 2030s. The main goal is to lay the foundation for crew trips to the ultimate human spaceflight destination, Mars. Well, guys, that's all we have for you today. When was the last time people were on the moon? Why haven't we come back to the moon? Get involved and let us know in the comments section down below what you think about today's video. If you liked this video and found it informative, then be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Also, if you don't want to miss out on any new future videos like these, Then be sure to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification under this video so that you're notified the next time we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you have a great day today, and we'll see you in the next video.